So I've been thinking a little bit about conditionality and, you know, how everything's conditioned. Nothing arises on its own, and how little we know about the specific conditions that cause things. Because in our life, sometimes there might be something that seems to be a very big deal, but it doesn't, later on we look and it didn't seem to have too many ramifications. And then there's other things that are very small and they have huge ramifications. And we don't know, because everything exists in relationship to other things, so we don't always have the big picture of all the factors that are in play when something is going on. And so in this way, sometimes, you know, when our mind makes a big thing out of something, it's very helpful to think, oh, it's only this life, you know. In other words, we see that, you know, there's thousands of causes and conditions all throughout samsara, and why are we latching on to one thing and making it a huge, big deal? You know how we do? Like each day when we get annoyed at somebody, it becomes like the biggest deal in the whole universe. And whereas if we have the awareness, oh, it's only this life, then that small thing is not going to become a big deal. We're not going to make it into a big deal and create a lot of karma about it. And yet, in another way, things of this life are very important, because we have a precious human life, and even very small things we do in this life can have a very profound effect, because there's the whole aspect of karma that multiplies. Remember that a small seed can produce many, many fruits in the long term. So it's this very interesting thing how, in one way, oh, it's only this life, so don't make a big deal out of the things our afflictions make a big deal out of. In another way, it is this life, and it is a big deal because we have tremendous opportunity to be able to practice, and so abandon even a small negative actions, creating even a small positive action can have very long-term and powerful effects. And so in that way, when we see the conditions too, you know, sometimes things that appear to be very powerful conditions don't seem to have a long-lasting effect, and other things that appear to be very small things in our life can have huge effects. I mean, I just think of this person who put the flyer in Bodhi Tree Bookstore in 1975. It was one small thing. It wasn't the only thing that got me involved in Dharma. There were a ton of other things going on there of which I was totally unaware of. But if somebody hadn't done that one small action, I wouldn't be sitting here today, you know? And then there's other things in my life that when they were happening seemed to be like, oh, this is going to have a tremendous impact on my life. And actually, not so much, you know? So, you know, but that's looking at it in terms of kind of what the effect is going to be, but in terms of the cause, you know, seeing that the causal energy we create is very, very important, and a small thing can be a big result. Yeah? But in terms of what we experience, we shouldn't necessarily make a big result out of it, because it's only something of this life. That's when it's an experience that we can have a lot of afflictions arise about. But when it's an experience where we can have a lot of virtuous minds arise about it, then it's good to let those virtuous minds arise. Yeah. Is this making some sense to you? Yeah? So it's just something I was thinking about, how, you know, in our ordinary condition, we know so really very little about the specifics of our conditioning.